All right, so I just pulled up to the theater, getting ready to check out the new Michael Jackson film, Michael. I hope it's good. It's not getting good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't believe everything they say anyway. IGN didn't like it either, but I'm gonna be the judge. I'm just planning to go in here and have a good time, vibe to the music, and hopefully enjoy the story, although I know there's gonna be some stuff that's left out. So, we're gonna go in here, we're gonna see what it is, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have a good time with this film anyway, because I'm a huge MJ fan. I love his music, so we're gonna go in here and check out this film, and I'll come back with the review. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and jump right on into the start of this review, and let's open this up with the plot. This movie focuses on Michael. I mean, this is his movie after all. The Jackson 5, they're here, but this is Michael's story. Yeah, the Jackson 5, they're not really, they're here, but they're, how do I say this? They're here, but they're not here very much, I guess is the easiest way I can say that. So this movie is mostly Michael's solo rise and his not so good relationship with his dad, Joe Jackson. And before anybody asks, yes, they do leave a lot out of this film. Let's get into the acting. And I can really only pinpoint a couple of the actors here. Starting with Jaafar Jackson as Michael Jackson. He did an amazing job. As far as I know, this is his first acting gig, and he was able to portray the role of his uncle, Michael Jackson. That's a big role to take on, and I think Jaafar Jackson does a fantastic job. There's even a scene in this movie where Jaafar as Michael is downstairs watching a movie with his mother, and he goes and gets popcorn, and they start eating it together, and it looks pretty much just like the shot of Michael Jackson minus the Thriller jacket. It looks just like the shot of Michael Jackson in the Thriller video, like when he's gobbling down the popcorn and smiling and enjoying the horror film. And that scene made me smile, actually, because that's what it reminded me of. And I think Jaafar Jackson totally owns this role. The sound is there. He smiles just like Michael Jackson. And especially, the choreography. There are some dance routines where I think the choreography might have been slightly changed, but it's still pretty amazing. So I definitely got to give 2 thumbs up to Jaafar Jackson for this role. And I don't know if I'm saying this dude's name right or not. Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson. He did a pretty good job too. Actually, he did a really good job. But he's very unlikable in this movie. But that's his job. That's what he's supposed to play. And I think I think he nails this role. I don't want to use the word perfectly because that might be taking it a bit far. But yeah, he does a damn good job. And the other person I'm going to point out is Nia Long as Catherine, Michael Jackson's mother. She does a really good job in here too. Very likable character. It's Nia Long. I'm a big fan of her stuff. Very attractive actress. She does a pretty good job here too. Now, I don't know the name of the young actor who plays young Michael Jackson, but seriously, I kind of wanted more of the younger Michael, because that's how good of a job this young actor was doing. He did a very good job too. So I'm not even going to do an MVP section of this review. I'm just going to say it. The MVP of this movie, you know what? I gotta go ahead and say in this movie there's 2 MVPs. I'm going to say it's Jaafar Jackson, and it's the young actor that plays young Michael. Because honestly, I'd have been okay with the film where we spend equally as much time with both. That's how much I enjoyed these performances. And everybody else is just kind of there. I mean, you got, Lorenz Tate, he's there for a bit. And they all do fine, but This is Michael's movie. So, obviously Michael's going to be the standout. So I'm pointing out the two best actors in the film aside from Jafar Jackson and the Michael Jackson actor. And I do think these performances are the key to the film. As far as the look of this film looks great. It looks great. It definitely feels like you're at a concert most of the time. The lighting, the stage, it's all here. It's great. My favorite part of this movie has to be the build up to the Beat It music video and the choreography in there. Seriously, this scene here like brought a huge smile to my face. The performance for Beat It also did. That's one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs. But I absolutely loved the story that they were telling with the build up before they got to the video shoot for this one. That's my favorite part of the entire film. Okay, even with me being like one of the biggest Michael Jackson fans ever, I still got to hit y'all with some cons, unfortunately. I try. I sometimes I have to do this in every movie unless I just think a movie doesn't have them. But fortunately, this one does have some cons. Now, one con is this movie plays it way too damn safe. As I said before, they leave a lot out of this film, and this film is all like almost portraying Michael as like a perfect man. And we know Michael Jackson had his flaws. And I'm sure he even had them at the during the timeline this movie is covering. I'm sure he even had his flaws then. That was one of my only problems with this film is just how safe they were playing it, and it almost made Michael seem too perfect. And I don't even think Michael Jackson himself would want to be portrayed that way. I don't. I mean, there's a lot of songs that I really wanted in this movie that just weren't, but the way they set up the final song in this movie, I kind of thought that was worth it. And this is also to me hoping that we are going to get like another part of the story because of like where this film wraps up. So if that's the direction they're going, I'm okay with how it ended. But if they don't end up doing a second one, I can say overall I'm like slightly disappointed at the ending. So I guess I'm going to review this one. Like when I come up with my final score for this movie, I'm going to review it as if my belief is that they're going to do a second part. So why am I so okay with the ending? Well, going into this movie, I kind of knew what I was getting into already. They did say that, quite a bit was going to be left out. And they did say that this movie was only going to cover like certain points. Like it told you what timeline it was going to cover. So I went in knowing that. And I mean, that's why I ain't come out of the theater like too disappointed with it because, I kind of went in knowing. And, I went into this film to have fun. And another reason I'm okay with this ending because, and like this is a huge because if they are setting up for a sequel or for another part of the story, the thing is, this would be, from my understanding, this would be the first time that a biopic actually built up to a sequel. And I think that's what's going to make this movie stand out above other biopics. Maybe not the sum, but in my opinion, that's just going to make it stand out. I'm curious to see what they're going to do next. I really hope we're going to get a sequel. All right. So with that being said, I guess it's kind of time for me to give my final thought and score on this movie. Now, for the story, even with people knowing like what timelines this is covering, I can see this upsetting some. But I knew what I was going into. One thing I can say about the entire runtime of this movie is that I was never, ever bored. I smiled. I danced a lot. Oh, yeah. I danced a lot. And so did the person that I was sitting next to in the theater. And the end of this film, you know, it especially got me excited because there's a recital that I'm going to be performing in 3 weeks, and the final song of this film is the song that I'm going to be dancing to at the recital. So that definitely got me hyped up for that. So I guess it's time for me to just go ahead and give this movie a final score. And like I said, I'm reviewing this under the belief that we are going to get another movie. So with that being said, aside from them just, basically trying to show in this movie that Michael was perfect, which he was not, I can't give this a perfect score. So I'm going to go ahead. I was leaning toward a 3.75, but just the fact that I had fun, I was dancing, I was smiling, I'm going to go ahead and give Michael a 4 out of 5. This movie is for fans like myself. That's who this movie's gonna really gonna stand out to. Everybody else that didn't know much about him, I could maybe see this disappointing them, or maybe not. Maybe they'll just have fun with the music and all that too, and maybe just those parts of his life. Maybe they're gonna have as much fun as I did. But I'm gonna stick with that score. I'm gonna give Michael a 4 out of 5. Excellent job from Jaafar Jackson, and I do think anybody who loves music, especially like Michael Jackson's music, they need to go check out this film. Even if for nothing else, check it out for the music, check it out for the choreography. You're gonna have a fun time, I think. I know I did.